Hello everybody, my name is Leanne Goff, and I'm here today to share some tips with you about how to stage your home and get it ready for sale. One of the first things that you'll want to do is walk around the house and disassociate yourself with it. Give yourself some closure by going into each room and thanking yourself for the time and the experiences you had inside the home, and then remind yourself that this is no longer your house, but that you are now going to prepare your house to sell it to someone new. Be sure to mentally let go of the things that are inside of your house. And one good way to do that is to begin to depersonalize your things. By depersonalization, I mean to remove the personal photos or memorabilia that you have around your house that has great meaning to you. If you leave these personal items up around the house, the buyers will come inside for a preview and they'll get caught up on your personal photos. You don't want them to say to themselves, "I wonder who lives in this home." You want them to say, "I can imagine myself living in this home." In order to give them the freedom to imagine themselves in the home, you have to take down your personal photos and your personal items. Another important thing to do when you're getting ready to list your house is to declutter. All of the things that make a house a home give it a sense of warmth. The paper towels and the block of cutting knives and the soap dishes and the bathrooms and the hand towels on the stove. Those things all help you live in the house and make it a warm place. But when the photographer arrives and is going to shoot images of your house, all of those little things end up looking like clutter. You also want to remove those things to extend the lines along your countertops. You want things to look big and long and dramatic in those photos. Especially good to remember that those photos are going to be viewed on a computer screen, or even more likely on an iPad and potentially even an iPhone. So when you take all of the items that make a house a home and bring them down into a photo that may only be 3 inches by 2 inches, it's very important to have all of the little items removed. Another important thing to remember is to rearrange all of your closets and cabinets. This is very important because when you're living in your kitchen and all of the coffee mugs are stacked on top of one another, or the silverware in the drawer is so plentiful that you could have an army of guests over for dinner, it actually comes across as rather cluttered and as if you don't have enough space. So it's very important to go through your cabinets as well as your linen closets and your personal closets and just begin to pack the things up. I always suggest getting a box and beginning to put those items that are cluttering your closets into the box as if you are actually moving. Then you can store them away someplace hidden from sight, and all of your cabinets and drawers and closets will look free from clutter, and when a buyer walks in, they will be able to say to themselves, "Wow, there's so much extra room in this house. I know all my stuff will fit in here." One thing I mentioned a moment ago is that it's a good idea to pack up your closets and begin to box them up as if you are moving. One thing I do not like to see is when those boxes are left inside the garage. The garage is just as important to look spacious and wide open as any other part of the house. So what are you supposed to do with all those boxes that you just packed up? I would suggest renting a storage unit. This will be a great place to start staging your things for the big move that's coming up. If you have any items inside your home that might be mistaken as a fixture, say a chandelier that has some personal memories or was just expensive and you'd like to keep it for your next house, be sure to solve any questions that might come up by removing that piece and replacing it with something that you wouldn't mind selling with the house. Another thing that is good to consider is to do minor repairs around the house. These repairs should help the house shine when buyers come to preview. And it would also be good if some of these repairs helped mitigate any inspection items that might be anticipated. Some of the minor repairs that you might want to consider would be, for example, to replace all of the hardware on the doors if they are gold. Choose something like brushed nickel, which is more modern and has an attractive look to the buyers. Another thing to consider is the concrete outside the house. This is one of the first things that the buyer will see as they approach the home. If it's cracked or scuffed or the salt over the winter months has caused it to degrade, it will create a less than attractive appearance for the home. This is usually a minor repair that a little bit of mudjacking and resurfacing can fix and create an attractive concrete that greets the buyers as they enter your home. Painting the exterior of the house is another relatively inexpensive way to create a fresh and attractive look for the new buyer who is approaching your home. This will also be an item that they can check off their maintenance list when they do their inspections. It's also recommended to have your furnace cleaned by an HVAC company. This can be presented in your due diligence documents to the buyer so that they also see that you have taken good care of the home. Another relatively inexpensive item that you can consider would be to have a roofer come out and check your roof for any hail or wind damage. This is usually a relatively inexpensive fix, and they can often provide a 5-year roof certification, which is further reassurance to the buyer that you have taken good care and maintenance of your home. Another important item to consider is if you have pets. If you have a cat or a dog, how are they treating your home? Does it smell like a cat? Because buyers are turned off by that almost immediately as soon as they walk in. Be sure to keep the kitty litter box clean. If there are any spots on the carpet, be sure to have the carpet cleaned. And if there are pets in the house, it is very important to keep them in a secure and potentially even off-site location while the showings are happening. That way you know they're safe and the buyers are not distracted in their imagination as they walk through the house. This has been Leanne Goff reporting on some home staging tips as you get ready to prepare your home for sale. Please call me anytime to discuss further options that you might want to consider.